Okay, I'm irked that I just had to interrupt my video for nothing. But anyways, um, I believe that it's a possibility that we do sabotage possible long-lasting future relationships and friendships with people by doing the, you know, hard, playing hard to get situation, as well as possibly ruin good long-lasting friendships too. And I feel like that because, okay, um, like I said, my girlfriend, I'm gonna call her Pearl, who's my best friend, who's the only friend so far, male or female, that I've known since at least around probably 11 to 12 years old. So we were still children when we met. And throughout our lives, we, have been friends. But here's a story of how I met Pearl. If you've been following for quite some time and you already know my story, you probably already heard um, me talk about how I was raised in a strict environment, raised Christian, raised by a Christian mother who also at a point in my life, probably around middle school is when my mom started her own schools. But yeah, at a point in my life, my mom had her own Christian schools and all of that good jazz. And I bring that up because Miss Pearl, who's my bestie, she was one of my mother's students. That's how I met her because when my mother opened up her school one year um, and had a lineup of students, Pearl was one of her students that was in her specific class. And that's how Pearl and I met because she and I was in the same class and we were the same age. So we was in the same grade. So Pearl and I history kind of reflects the very idea of what I'm speaking on when I say, um, we could possibly jeopardize our own possible long lasting friendships, relationships with loved ones by playing hard to get. Now, I'm not trying to say she and I, our relationship was like we was playing hard to get because we are not romantically involved at all. That's my homie, but I love her like a friend. I'm not gay, but you know, basically, her and I vibe was I think we went to school together from fifth or sixth grade to ninth grade. So that's like about 3 or 4 years we went to school together for. And I remember she left when we got to high school. She left and went to another school. So at that time that she left and went to another school, she and I lost contact. Like we kind of fell off. And I was getting to the point at that time, I was a teenager, so I was getting to the point at that time where I was starting to recognize that, all right, man, I guess some friends is not going to last. So, like I just squashed it, just took it for what I figured it probably was. So I took it as a loss. I had thought Pearl and I was not going to be friends anymore because, we ended up falling off. Losing contact, not being able to be in touch. But over the years, just a few years though, it probably maybe around 5, 10 years roughly, we ended up getting back into each other's circle because it was a few times that me and my mom both ran into either my girlfriend and or her mother and or father. So, you know, over the number of years that we were distant, I still would hear about her or something like that, or I still would see her and then say, "Hey, how you doing? What's going on with you?" Da, 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 for the time being, and then until we see each other again, type thing. For a good, like I said, about between 5 to 10 years, we kind of like maneuvered that way. Um, and this was like around high school, beyond high school, first few years of college and stuff, because we both went to college. We both went to high school, but we both went to different colleges and different high schools. So again, we were separated for a while. So that separation kind of made it like the hard to get type spectrum, where it was like hard for us to keep in contact with each other. So we did typically naturally. And over time, I actually had to fuss my girlfriend out. I'm not, look, girl, if you watching, you know what the deal is. You know we have our conversations. But I had to cuss my girlfriend out a few times. Cuss her out. Like literally cuss her out. No lie. Because I got tired of being in situations where I would see myself way too many times, like pursuing, trying to see if she's okay, pursuing her, trying to catch up with her, trying to make sure that I contacted her and stayed in touch with her. But she did not return the favor, and I got sick and tired of noticing that, and she's not doing anything about it. So it's a number of times over the years that we've had issues because of that, or whatever other reasons, like just like any other best friend um, relationship, we've had our ups and downs. But particularly, like regardless of all of the ups and downs that we've had, I can honestly say that us still trying to put effort in to keep the friendship, keep the relationship, keep communication. It's important. It's necessary. It's like extremely necessary, because at the end of the day, like I think we forget that everything in life you got to work for, including relationships. Yeah. Yeah. Like even your relationships with your mom and dad, like as natural as that relationship is, you still have to work to keep that alive and to keep it healthy. And those relationships with your family members and your closest friends, that kind of dwindles into your relationships with your loved ones, like lovers, people you become intimate with. Like it all kind of goes hand in hand. It's kind of like a chain reaction type thing, or like dominoes. Like this chip fall, that chip fall, that chip fall, like everything fall in line. So if the line starts off toxic as hell, terribly toxic, meaning you're a person and you don't even have a healthy relationship with your mom and dad, then you already starting off kind of shaky and kind of like toxic. But if you work on yourself and the issues and stuff that you know that you probably have accommodated over having a toxic relationship with your mother and father, and you actually deal with that, you handle it, you work on yourself, you improve yourself, your lifestyle, your circumstances, your consistency of what you do on a regular basis, then you can heal yourself before you hurt anybody else by connecting with them, too early in a time frame when you're not healed yet. So I feel like in romantic relationships it's done a lot more and a lot heavier. And I do overstand, because once I really, really, and this kind of happened recently, once I really recognized that, yeah, you kind of put yourself out there and make yourself way too vulnerable when it comes to dating. No lie. I can't even sit here and act like that's not a real deal situation, because it is. Like if you're not careful, you can't even be mad if somebody hurts you because you made yourself vulnerable. But then again, when you're trying to have a loved one or have someone fall in love with you, you play it safe all the time. How are you ever going to find true love? Like, how are you ever really going to make a genuine connection with a person if people are always so conditioned to just really fall for people who don't really like them? Then and this is how it comes forth with the romantic situations, because it's different from regular friendships that does not have anything to do with romance, like my girlfriend and I, to a romantic relationship between like boyfriend girlfriend, or between like male and female that has potential of being boyfriend and girlfriend. It happens a lot more heavier. there. And that's where I have my first, well, technically second um, thing that I really wanted to like talk about in more detail, which is thinking, do men create damning situations only being interested when you aren't, and aid in being the backbone reason why relationships don't work? So basically, what I've been thinking, I said men because I'm a woman and I only date men. So I said, do men or people create damning situations only being in um, interest with someone or really loving that person when they feel like that person don't really have feelings for them, or when they feel like that person has pushed them away and is not really interested? Do we literally damn our relationships to have an end date by doing that? And the reason why I say this is because um, here's the thing: you can only play the game but for so long. If you're dating, let me say I was dating. Instead of me being in a relationship, this is not my story, but I'm just using this as an example or scenario. Let's say that instead of being in a relationship right now, I was dating, right? And let's say I was dating, some guy that is kind of like wishy washy. Like one day we go on a date, he acts like he really likes me, he's really into me, he's vibing all the way, right? And then let's say we go on the second date, and then he's just like cold, he's just distant, he's just weird acting, his energy is just way off. And then it's kind of like that consistent hot, cold type of vibe whenever y'all get together. And I'm saying y'all, but I'm using a scenario with me. So whenever me and this person that I would be dating get together, it'll be hot, cold because of the way he's acting, right? So let's say I catch on to him possibly doing this hot, cold act because he wants to be with somebody that don't really feel him that much, and that don't really act like they feel him that much, and don't really show that they like him very much. So I jump on that bandwagon and I start playing hard to get like him, because I recognize and I see, okay, it's a possibility that you're playing hard to get because subconsciously you want me to play hard to get. So, okay, I'm going to play hard to get. Okay, I play hard to get. He falls in love because we know too many times people are extremely attached and in love, or infatuation, charmed by people who um, they don't have access to, or by people who don't really like them like that. So, with that being the case, I decide that I'm going to reflect that same energy and I'm going to give him what he's looking for. Like, basically give him what he's asking for without asking, right? He falls in love. Let's say we end up getting married. Let's not even stop at their relationships. Let's say we actually go all the way, we end up getting married, right? And let's say about 3 to 5 years in, 3 to 5 years into the marriage, right? And I'm saying 3 to 5 years, but this differs from person to person, from couple to couple, how long the honeymoon, quote unquote, honeymoon stage is, where y'all still gonna keep like pretending like, y'all are perfect, pretending like y'all don't, you know what I mean? Your itch don't stink, pretending like you don't have real problems, you don't have real issues, real particular complications that you actually need help with. Because once you get over that honeymoon stage, when you're doing the act of playing hard to get, then the real you eventually has to kick in, don't it? The real y'all. Y'all being in a relationship, the real y'all and the pain that y'all go through in life on a regular day-to-day basis that y'all have tried to hide in the dating stage or in the honeymoon stage, that's going to end up coming out after 3 to 5 years of being married or in a relationship. So when that comes out, we start fighting. If we never fought before, if we have fought before but it wasn't that serious, we start fighting worse. Because now you feel like, you know, why you acting like, you weak or something, like, that guys like to acquire, having issues, women having issues with them being weak and stuff like that. So, sometimes that's what some guys might say. I'm not saying all guys are like that, but a lot of them are. So, let's say that guy starts to fuss at me and be mad at me because he's like, um, you're not acting the same way you used to act. You used to act like you ain't really like me like that. You used to not call me so often. You used to, be so easy on me, be so chill, be so relaxed. And now you all on my phone. You all bothering me while I'm at work. You all want to know what I'm up to all the time. You all down my throat. Want to always be associated with everything that I do. And he doesn't want to recognize, well, that's because we're finally being ourselves now. Because I couldn't be myself and get in your circle at first. And I do get it. That's some people's way of protecting their peace and protecting their energy by being careful who they do, hang out with, who they do let their guard down with. I get that. But I also get that you can possibly put yourself in that position where, like I said, with my scenario that I made up, where if I'm dating this guy and after 3 to 5 years, he and I start to fight more, start to argue more, because now we've fallen out of what we've made ourselves get used to doing that wasn't really who we was. And now we've gotten into the habit of who we really are. And we think we're going to stay with the same person who showed us in the beginning that the act of us loving them did not turn them on in the first place. So now we're going to start really showing this person love that didn't want to be shown it in the first place. How do we think that that's going to work out well? It didn't the first time, did it? So how would it work out well now? And that's why I feel like in relationships and in marriage, we literally probably stand in our own ways with possibly being able to meet and connect with good people. Now I'm going to have to come back to you guys with another video of how do I believe that it is better for us to protect our energy as opposed to playing these games and sometimes playing ourselves out of a future friend or a future relationship or just a long lasting, friendship. It can be either way. It does, it doesn't have to be one thing, you know. And the last but not least subject I kind of wanted to touch on that is associated with the title is talk about how they say don't play games in love, but isn't that kind of what you're forced to do if you want someone to like you back these days? It's not so simple. I like you, you like me, let's get together and be happy. Y'all remember the Barney story back in the day? Anyway, it's kind of like a spin-off on that. So basically what I was saying in this particular point that I was making is I'm pretty sure y'all have heard the saying, just like I've heard the saying, don't play games in love, okay? People always like to say that. Stop playing games, stop playing games. But these days, most of the time when you like somebody, you gotta play games in order to get them to like you back. Because think about it, you can literally Google it where it's known that way too many times when a person likes a person, that other person not gonna like them back very simply and very easily, to the point where they ain't got to put themselves to work to try to find out how to get this person to let their guard down. So it's like, y'all tell us not to play games, but y'all put us in positions where we have to play games if we even want to try to see if we can have any kind of connections romantically. Especially kind of like genuine connections where we can say mutually that we both like each other, because it's too many times also in relationships where both parties don't even like each other. And I feel like that has a lot to do with it too, with the don't play no games, but yet you got to play games because people don't like people that like them. So you kind of got to play the game just to get them to like you. Because sadly, these days we can't get together off of attraction anymore. Like, it's like attraction. Oh, attraction is not enough. It's got to be more. It's got to be companionship, compatibility. And I get that. That does make sense. But at the same time, like I said, don't get in your own way to the point that you block out people that you probably should be marrying. And you marrying people that you probably should never even be friends with. So these are my thoughts. I hope I wasn't all over the place with this video here. I just decided to come to you guys about it because I was just like, it feels very wrong how so much of us, like, our relationships are screwed. Like, even when it comes to family, relationships just be here today, going tomorrow. You never know, like, from one day to the next, who gonna still be friends, who gonna still be cool, who gonna still be respecting who. Like, you just don't know. So I hope that me bringing this video to y'all attention would put y'all in a good mind space to, like, really start to think about it and maybe move a little differently, a little better. But like I said, I am going to work on getting a video together that's going to kind of like be a responsive video to this, where I find out what can be done to actually still be very careful and don't allow yourself to be too vulnerable, but at the same time, don't put yourself in a position where you can literally turn off a person that was naturally really turned on by you. Like, come on, how much more genuine can a relationship be when the one person is genuine about liking this person, the other person is genuine about liking that person? How much more genuine can that relationship even be? But people are messing up those chances and those opportunities of that relationship because they're so focused on, oh, I don't want to get hurt. Yeah, you shouldn't want to get hurt. Now, I understand nobody wants to get hurt, but we have to find a smarter, more feasible way that's not going to literally possibly deter us from what we really want. All right, guys, I hope I wasn't too far all over the place. I hope y'all really got the idea of what I was trying to say. And if you guys have any positive and reasonably understandable comments about this subject or anything similar, please make sure you drop your comments in the comment section down below. And I'll respond back if, it's something that I can respond to. I'll see you guys in the next video. Till next time.